In 2025, the average person spends more than 3 hours a day scrolling. That's over 45 full days a year spent liking, sharing, and consuming bite-sized content. We tell ourselves it's harmless, just a way to stay connected. But I didn't feel connected. I felt distracted. Every time I picked up my phone, just for a minute, it turned into half an hour, so I decided to do something radical. I quit all social media for 30 days. No Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter, not even YouTube outside of work. I wanted to know, would I feel less stressed, more focused, or just bored? This is the story of what I learned. Part 1, Week 1, the withdrawal. The first 24 hours were harder than I expected. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, while waiting for the elevator, in line at the store, even during commercial breaks. Psychologists call this cue-triggered craving. Your brain links tiny moments of boredom to the rush of checking your feed. Without that hit of dopamine, you feel uneasy, almost like a smoker without a cigarette. By day 3, I noticed something strange. I wasn't just missing the apps, I was missing the noise. I realized I often opened social media not to connect, but to escape silence. Sleep experts say that constant scrolling before bed keeps the brain in a state of alertness. By day 5, my sleep was deeper. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night to just check my phone. I was still restless during the day, but already something was shifting. Part 2, Week 2, the fog lifts. By the second week, the cravings started to fade. It was like a mental fog slowly lifting. I began to notice small things, the sound of birds outside my window in the morning, the way coffee actually smelled instead of just being fuel. Conversations with friends felt richer because I wasn't half distracted. I also realized how much time I used to waste. On average, I'd scroll for 2 to 3 hours a day. Without the apps, those hours were suddenly free. I started journaling again. I read a book that had been sitting on my shelf for months, and for the first time in years, I went for a walk without headphones. Science backs this up. A 2018 study from the University of Pennsylvania found that students who limited social media use to 30 minutes a day reported lower levels of loneliness and depression. It felt like I was reclaiming not just time, but also mental space. Part 3, Week 3, the hard truth. Around week 3, I noticed a different challenge. It wasn't just the apps I missed, it was validation. When I shared something online, a photo, a thought, likes and comments acted like little rewards. Now, I realized how much of my self-worth had been tied to those reactions. I remembered something I read in Dr. Cal Newport's book, Digital Minimalism. Our attention is the most valuable resource we own, and we often give it away for free. I started to see how the platforms were designed to keep me hooked. Infinite scrolling, notifications, the red badges that spark curiosity. In this quiet month, I had to face myself without the crowd's applause. It was uncomfortable at first, but strangely liberating. Part 4, Week 4, Rediscovering Focus. By the last week, I felt lighter. I could sit down and focus for an hour without feeling the need to reach for my phone. I also noticed my creativity returning. I brainstormed new ideas for work. I even started sketching again, something I hadn't done in years. Researchers say that constant interruptions from notifications can lower your IQ temporarily, almost as much as losing a night of sleep. Without that constant ping, my mind felt sharper. Friends told me I seemed calmer. I was sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. I didn't feel the weird pressure to document every moment of my life. In a way, it felt like going back to a slower, saner time. Part 5, the surprising boost in confidence. As the month went on, I began to notice something I didn't expect. I felt more confident. Without social media, I wasn't comparing myself to influencers' vacations, other people's perfect bodies, or friends' highlight reels. Psychologists call this upward social comparison. It often makes us feel as if we're not doing enough, even when we're doing just fine. By day 20, I realized I felt calmer walking into a room full of people. I didn't think about how I looked in a photo or whether someone would tag me in a post. I started focusing on how I felt, not how I appeared. This shift in mindset was subtle but powerful. It reminded me of something the motivational speaker Jim Rohn once said: compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. Part 6. The impact on real-world connections. The second surprise came in my relationships. With no feed to scroll, I naturally spent more time talking face-to-face. I noticed dinners with friends felt longer and warmer. Phone calls with family weren't rushed. I actually listened instead of half listening while swiping on my phone. Researchers at the University of Essex found that even the presence of a phone on the table, not ringing, not lighting up, just there can make conversations feel less close and less meaningful. By day 25, I understood that social media hadn't truly made me social. It had made me distracted. Real connection lives in eye contact, in unhurried conversations, in moments we share without the need to post them. Part 7. Productivity and creativity. Return. One of the most life-changing effects showed up near the end of the 30 days. My ability to focus came back. Before the break, I would sit down to work and within minutes feel the itch to check my phone. That constant switching between tasks was draining. By day 27, I could sit down and write for an hour straight. I started a side project I'd been putting off for years. I picked up my old guitar again and actually enjoyed playing. A 2022 Harvard study found that constant notification checking can reduce what's called deep work capacity, the ability to think clearly and produce original ideas. By cutting off the endless scroll, I reclaimed that lost capacity. Creativity thrives in boredom and quiet. Social media fills that space with noise. Part 8. The mental reset. The final lesson hit me in the last few days. Quitting social media didn't just free up time, it created a mental reset. I realized how often I'd been reacting to headlines, to strangers' opinions, to trends that didn't matter. The break reminded me that life offline moves at a very different rhythm, slower, calmer, and somehow more real. It also taught me that I don't need to give up social media completely. What I need is intentional use. Log in with a purpose, log out when I'm done, keeping notifications off, and protect my mornings and evenings from the pull of the feed. The big takeaway. Looking back at the 30-day journey, I can say this: I didn't come out richer. I didn't suddenly become a different person, but I became more present. I noticed sunrises I had missed before. I laughed harder during conversations. I stopped measuring my worth in likes and views. And I found hours each day that I thought I didn't have. Social media is not the villain. It's a powerful tool, but demanding. When we let it run our days, it steals the quiet spaces where growth happens. When we take control, even a little, we gain something priceless: our attention. If you've ever felt stuck in the endless scroll, give yourself the gift of a break. It doesn't have to be forever. Try 7 days or 30. See what you discover about yourself when the noise fades, because in the silence, you might hear something you've been missing for a long time. Your own thoughts, your own goals, your own life. If this story spoke to you, take a step today. Put your phone down for an hour. Go for a walk. Write down how you feel. And if you found this journey inspiring, share it with someone who needs it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you can join us for more deep dives into real-world experiments and the science behind living a better life.